Some reviews take no time at all. You can open up the box, try it out, and get a verdict right away. Other reviews, on the other hand, take time. Take a few months maybe to try it out, make sure it's as good as it is supposed to be, and that it lasts the way it's supposed to. So I've taken the past few months to try out my new keyboard that took a little bit of selecting, the Redragon VATA K580. Is it K580? K580, I got it right. Now, this was not sent to me. I bought this with my own money. I chose it myself. I wanted this keyboard. I had all the features I wanted, and I'm going to go over them a little bit and let you know how it held up. Now, if you're interested in Redragon keyboards, you've probably heard the hype that they're actually pretty amazing keyboards for the price. Mechanical keyboards, especially RGB mechanical keyboards, tend to go for quite a bit of money on Amazon or any store that you choose. The big names, you know, the average price is between 120 and 200 bucks for the high-end gaming keyboards. But Redragon cuts that in half, and this one I think is on sale around $62 right now. I think I may have paid $68, but it's right around there. So it's pretty much half of what the average could be, even less than half compared to others. And I really have not found any compromises. I love this keyboard a lot, and let's go over a few of the things. Okay, so I shut the lights off so you can get the full effect of the RGB. It is quite pretty, as you can see. I'm a big fan of it. Now, you can change them to many different effects. In fact, I'll show you a few of them in a minute. But you have media controls, which is important for me because of all the stuff I do with YouTube and videos and just in general. I like having a volume wheel here that feels nice. It's solid. It doesn't wiggle around or anything like that. It's got a nice grip to it. And then these are pretty sweet. I wanted these especially, even though I personally have not gotten used to using macros yet. I know how important they are to some people, and it's nice that this has it. So you press the record button, choose a configuration. It can be multiple keys, or it'll record until you're done. And then this flashes when it's in the recording mode. So say you wanted to do like Control-Alt-Delete as a macro, then you could assign it to one of these 5 macro keys, which is pretty nice. It could be anything really. I mean, if you use Photoshop, it could be just a undo button or so on, or it could even be a render button if you're doing video software. So that's nice to have. I'm appreciative of that, even though personally I'm used to the old way and haven't fully used it yet. Shame on me. And of course it has the numpad, which is important to a lot of people. I really wouldn't see any reason why to compromise on that. And these keycaps are full. They're double injected, so it has a really good quality. They get really close to, let's get pretty close in to these keycaps so you can see. Now the design of this keyboard is pretty solid. This has a nice metal plating in here to keep it firm and rigid. There is not really any flex on this at all. Because of metal frames. The rest is plastic, but it is good. It is supported by the metal frame, the metal plating, so that's good. The legs of this move in and out, and they have a rubber tip to them, which is not glued on. All the glued on rubber tips to these little kickstands always fall off, and I cannot even really see much of a seam. Oh, there's a tiny bit of one. You can barely see it though. It's really gonna stay there. It's really good quality. So it's like a little fin, little rubber fin that's on there. And then below it here, if you do not want it raised at all, it has a little bit of a rubber plate just on here, on both sides, the front and the back. So it will grip no matter what configuration you have it in. So, well thought out there. It also is spill proof, which to a lot of other people is also important. I don't think I've ever really spilled a drink on a keyboard, but for a lot of you who drink coffee at your desk or Red Bull or whatever it is, it happens. It happens to the best of us. Thankfully, I haven't had an opportunity to prove that yet, but everything else has been true, so I believe them. All right, so what kind of switches are in the keyboard? Well, they're blue switches, kind of like the Cherry MX Blue, although they're kind of an off-brand, so they're not technically that, but they are comparable. They're pretty much the same. And this is the thing that I think people will either love or hate. Now, that's That's up to you. The style of switch, I mean, I don't think there's really truly a difference in quality between the color of switches. They're really just style. Some are quieter, some are clickier, some just have a different feel. The blue is it's loud. And this one, I feel, compared to other blues, is even clickier and louder than some. But if you're into that, if you want it to always sound like you're writing an angry letter to Microsoft, then this is the keyboard for you. Now, the feel of it, I mean, I can't translate that over video, but it has that very satisfying push to it. You know, the springiness, very tactile, and I love it. There have been times here and there where I've got a lot to type, and my wife will be in the other room, and I don't want it to like bother her with the, you know, full-on hacker sound. But you know, for the most part, it's enjoyable. It makes me feel like I'm being productive, and you know, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing for some people. Okay, so if you want to replace those switches, they are fully replaceable. You can replace them yourself. In fact, they give you a few extra switches in here to give it a shot. Let me open up the box real quick. This is where you can kind of tell that they went the extra mile for all of you and me. So in the box here, they give you. Let's see if I can get this out. And they package it well. It's got all this foam. There we go. Pretty cool. So there's 8 extra switches they give you. Now, I don't really see much of. It's not like this is. I guess if a switch gives out on you for whatever reason, you have that spare. But the fact that there are other colors is a little odd. Other than the chance to perhaps pop one in and see how you like it in case you want to buy a different one. Because you could buy new switches if you like this keyboard, but don't really care for the switches behind the keycaps. You could go in and replace every single one of them. Or if you want like the WASD switches to be swapped for different ones, if you want a different feel for those keys when you're gaming and just those keys, it's a very specific thing for specific people to do that. But the fact is you can with this one, which is really nice. I mean, for this price, you're getting a lot of really premium things that I think you can typically only get with really expensive ones. So here, yeah, you can feel the difference between all these keys. I don't know if you can hear it on the microphone. So that's the black switches. Here are the brown switches. So these have a similar feel, just a different sound. There's probably going to be some people like really angry, like, oh, blacks are very different from browns. And here's the reds. Similar sound to the browns, but different feel. They're a little more soft, I'd say. There's a little less rigidity to it. And then the blues. Now this is the one that comes with the keyboard. Much clickier, much springier feeling. Like it shoots right back up. It's a good feeling. I like it. I would stick to it. If I were to switch to any of these, maybe the blacks, because it has the resistance and the silence that might be desirable to some. Should you want to remove the keycaps or the switches, they give you the tools for them as well. Not like this is particularly hard to find, but they give it to you so you don't have to. I mean, it's nice. You know, some companies don't give you things that really should be included in your packages for the price you pay. The only thing I could see being potentially better about this keyboard is if it came with an included wrist rest. At this price, I don't expect that. It's already good enough as it is, and it's more than good enough for the price you're paying. But the only thing I could see being improved and complete about this is having a wrist rest. Other than that, I think it's near perfect. So let's show some of the lighting settings. It's very similar to a lot of other keyboards. In fact, I think they all kind of share the same ideas. But, you know, maybe that's what you're here to see. So let's show you. Okay, so you press the function key, and then you can cycle through the colors using the arrow keys. Right now the setting is on the RGB wave. So if you have a color theme in the room you're in, then you can just use this. Don't be distracted by the RGB in the case. don't let that fool you. It's not the keyboard. So you can go cycle through all the colors. You have to cycle through all the way using the arrow keys themselves. If you cycle backwards, you just change the direction the wave is going, which is kind of cool. So you change the colors this way. So let's go back to the full color. So these right here, change the setting type it is. So instead of a wave, this is just the RGB shifting. And let's just go through a few of these. So that's it for the Redragon VATA keyboard. Big fan, couldn't recommend it more. If you're looking for a really high quality mechanical keyboard, been using it for a while now, and no complaints whatsoever. It's a great keyboard. Again, I'm not being paid for this. No, they didn't send it to me. Use my own money. Just a keyboard I really like. Over the past year, I've been sent a lot of stuff, and I kind of took a break from reviewing things because it started to be all pretty much the same stuff, same microphones, yada yada yada, and kind of want to take a break from it. But this one I really wanted to review because I really think it deserves some credit. So that's it for me today.